Young people gaining meaningful employment for the summer. 3,500 across municipal corporations island-wide. Some at police stations in the St. Andrew North Division. Receiving personal development training skills for service in various sectors. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson and thanks for making it Jamaica Magazine. We continue on the path of positive engagement with initiatives of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. Coming up in our show, plus much more. Stay with us.
The National ID system will register your picture and fingerprint. It will not need an iris scan unless you don't have a fingerprint, and will only take a footprint if you can't give an iris scan or a fingerprint. This will help people with disabilities to get a national ID. NIDS is about inclusion, not exclusion, protecting the rights of all Jamaicans. Get the facts at nidsfacts.com.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, August 16. Government has finalized the terms of reference for the team being set up to determine Petrojam's strategic direction.
Sent the TOR to the opposition. I've had their comments, and we have considered them. We have spoken to persons who were inviting to serve on the commission. They have agreed. We still have one or two persons that we're just tidying up details with, and we should have the commission named very shortly.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was speaking Wednesday during his quarterly press briefing at Jamaica House. In July, Mr. Holness announced that businessman Christopher Zaka would chair the team that would help the state decide its role in Petrojam's future. Government has been looking to buy back Venezuela's 49% share in the oil refinery and explore ways to make necessary upgrades. Mr. Holness says his administration is also looking at other aspects of the island's energy security to include a possible divestment of Wigton Wind Farm and its shares in the Jamaica Public Service.
We are in a transitionary period in our economy. We are taking wiser decisions. We are taking decisions that are more thoughtful. So that's on the energy front. So I want to see those high-level decisions through.
Cabinet is to review the draft beach access and management policy when it returns from recess in September. The announcement was made yesterday by Minister Darrell Vaz during the Prime Minister's quarterly press briefing at Jamaica House. He says the policy will consider access to and the management of private and public beaches across the island.
What we want is a holistic policy that works for everybody, works for the investor and works for the public.
I suspect that the debate will, within the context of the cabinet, move towards some amendments to the legislation.
10 beaches are being upgraded this financial year under the government's Beach Development Program. Financed primarily by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, $104 million has already been spent on the upgrading of the licensed Boston and Markingstone beaches. A $239 million island-wide road patching program will be rolled out over the next few weeks. The National Works Agency, NWA, is finalizing plans for the program, which will target over 97,000 square meters of major road corridors in 10 parishes. Communication and Customer Services Manager Stephen Shaw says the patching should start within the next week and last for 8 weeks. Over 111 road sections will get attention. Mr. Shaw says St. Catherine, St. Thomas, Kingston and St. Andrew have not been included in this round of works, but a special program is being finalized for these parishes. In the meantime, the $239 million initiative complements a spray patching program that will be implemented in Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth, Clarendon and St. Mary. It's valued at $123 million. 20,000 square meters of roadways in Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Catherine will also be targeted as part of that spray patching program. Transport Minister Robert Montego has committed to addressing safety concerns raised by commuting students ahead of the upcoming school year. Minister Montego gave the commitment during recent talks with a delegation from the National Secondary Students Council, NSSC. The council raised concerns about safety of commuting students, punctuality of buses, and route recommendations. During the meeting, Minister Montego said he would continue talks with other stakeholders, including the police, insurance companies, and the financial sector. The consultations form part of the minister's 16-point transport reform proposal. The proposal aims to repair the public transportation system and was outlined by the minister during his sectoral presentation on May 30. 21 high school students in St. Catherine have been awarded scholarships worth $315,000 by the Poverty Alleviation and Empowerment Foundation. The awards were presented on Tuesday at the Social Development Commission's office in Spanish Town.
The scholarships is our way of ensuring that the children of the nation, albeit only in a small part of the country, get some form of assistance to move from one phase of their journey to another.
The foundation's executive director says the group will begin delivering its breakfast programs to early childhood institutions within the parish that do not have any, starting in September. The Poverty Alleviation and Empowerment Foundation manages projects that include training in entrepreneurial enterprises such as apiculture and poultry rearing, with assistance from RADA, the Bodles Research Center, Food for the Poor, and corporate entities. And finally, weather forecasters have lowered the prediction for a near or above normal hurricane season to one that's below or near normal. The updated forecast indicates a 90% chance that the remainder of the 2018 hurricane season will have 0 to 2 hurricanes that are Category 3 or higher. The season ends in November. According to the Meteorological Service, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, has lowered its prediction due to cooler than normal sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic. This weather is expected to continue into October, which is generally the peak of the hurricane season. NOAA also says models are projecting El Niño to become strong enough to help suppress hurricane conditions. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has been putting measures in place that will see to the welfare of citizens. Among them are policies to improve minimum wage and workplace safety, as well as to increase budgetary allocation for PATH beneficiaries and overseas employment opportunities. Portfolio Minister Shahini Robinson unveils more next.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security carrying out measures to facilitate key priority areas such as protection of vulnerable groups, increased workplace productivity, and ensuring a safe and healthy work environment.
We are going for it, and with all hands on deck, we will achieve our goal of bolting the foundation for lasting prosperity through dignity and respect. One area in which we will be focusing a great deal of attention over the next 3 years is the business of productivity.
The Ministry of Labour, through the Jamaica Productivity Centre, JPC, will be ramping up its public education campaign to build an awareness of how productivity contributes to sustainable economic growth.
The JPC will also be assisting individuals, firms, and organizations to become more productive through training and technical support. A strong emphasis will be placed on the adoption or adaptation of innovation as a driver of productivity.
The JPC is receiving technical advice and training over the next 2 years from a quality and productivity expert provided by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. Steps are being taken to assist job seekers, employers, and the general public to secure employment and access to related services.
This will be undertaken through the Electronic Labour Exchange Unit. Since April 2017, approximately 1,092 persons have been placed in local employment by the unit. This represents an increase of 20.5% over the previous year.
To improve the employability of our youth, the ministry conducted 66 employability skills training sessions over the last financial year and intends to carry out 77 sessions in the 2018-2019 financial year. On the overseas employment market, 15,914 Jamaicans were placed in the United States and Canada in the last financial year. Of note are 69 women recruited for the U.S. Agricultural Program and 159 cane cutters who were placed in Florida.
Through our liaison service in the United States and Canada, we are working to secure more jobs and, importantly, the welfare of our workers. We are also in discussion with the Dalhousie University, who has offered to assist us in the training of farm workers to ensure that they are better equipped to work on Canadian farms.
Following the announcement of an increase in the national minimum wage and the minimum wage for industrial security guards, approval was granted by the House of Representatives on July 24. Effective August 1, the national minimum wage was increased from $6,200 to $7,000. At the same time, security guards' minimum pay for a 40-hour work week moved from $8,854 to $9,700.
We have taken into account the stability of the Jamaican economy, the rate of inflation, and the economic circumstance of the workers, as well as the ability of the employers to absorb an increase.
On the matter of resolving employment conflicts,
I'm pleased to report that during the 2017-2018 financial year, the ministry was able to resolve 70% of the reported industrial disputes. We will be further strengthening the industrial relations machinery through a series of seminars and workshops for labour officers to expand and improve the ministry's capacity to respond to issues affecting workers and employers alike.
Another area of priority for the Ministry of Labour is the Occupational Safety and Health OSH Act, which was tabled last financial year. Ahead of its passage, government will be undertaking capacity building, sensitization awareness program, and a continued dialogue with the Labour Advisory Council. The proposed OSH Act requires employers to have trained personnel in occupational safety and health and ensure that their establishments meet required certification.
It will guarantee safe and healthy places of work. It will enhance productivity. It will put us on par with international standards. It will give us a competitive edge, and certainly it will draw investors to our shores. Social protection is central to our mission in the ministry, and we're pursuing several initiatives to provide adequate coverage to our citizens.
Among them, the revised National Policy for Senior Citizens that was tabled in Parliament as a Green Paper in February 2018. A 20% increase in National Insurance Scheme benefits effective April 1, 2018, and the funeral grants moving from $80,000 to $90,000 on August 1. Persons with disabilities continue to receive financial assistance from the government in areas such as grants, education and training, medical expenses, and income-generating projects. Additionally, 65 persons benefited from the Economic Empowerment Grant of over $7 million. And
approximately $24 million has been allocated in the 2018-2019 financial year to provide support for persons with disabilities. We continue to ensure that persons with disabilities are protected and can enter the job market with dignity and respect, either as entrepreneurs or employees.
Turning to the program of advancement through health and education path, a budget of $8.4 billion has been allocated to support 360,000 Jamaicans. The benefits were increased by 30% in June 2018 for all categories of beneficiaries. On the matter of child labor, on June 26, the ministry, in conjunction with the U.S. Department of Labor, launched the implementation of the country-level engagement and assistance to reduce child labor project, CLEAR 2.
Through this project, we will be receiving technical assistance to review existing legislation, finalize the national policy on child labor, and to revise the national action plan on child labor.
Further to this, the ministry will be implementing a risk identification model aimed at identifying areas and sectors with high probability of child labor and to create vulnerability maps.
This will allow us to interrupt the trajectory of child labor once and for all.
Jamaica has a Tier 1 rating by the ILO for its efforts in reducing child labor.
We are confident that the work we have been doing over the past 2 years is strategically poised to secure a platform for a better Jamaica, one in which we are bolting the foundation for lasting prosperity through dignity and respect for all.
Mommy?
Yes, Zoe?
Can we read this book? It will only take 10 minutes.
Sure, sit down. Every spring, Madame Angel Wing arranges.
Do you have 10 minutes? Read with your child today. Reading with your children for just 10 minutes each day helps develop their language and listening skills, stimulates their imagination, and expands their understanding of the world. So, start reading with your child today.
Up next, another initiative by the Ministry of Labour to protect the most vulnerable among us, our children, is providing a tailored learning environment for children with disabilities. Check this out.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
The Early Stimulation Program is an intervention assessment catering to the various developmental needs of children with disabilities from birth to 6 years old. The program operates through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security under its Integrated Social Protection and Labour Program.
The Early Stimulation Program is an excellent program, and it provides intervention for children with developmental challenges from 0 to 6 years old, whether physical or mental challenges. It identifies and it intervenes at an early age.
The program is to assist these children who are sometimes left behind, disregarded, stigmatized, to reach their highest potential and to be mainstream, whether into the special education program or the regular education system.
Approximately 30,000 children have been assisted by the Early Stimulation Program, ESP, since its inception in 1975, and over 6,000 of them have been placed in regular primary schools or special education centers. Children in the program have varying types of developmental disabilities and are all ably catered for through intervention strategies employed by specialized professionals.
Our stimulation exercises look at least at 5 developmental domains. They look at the language of the child, the cognitive, the social and emotional, the growth and fine motor adaptive. This helps us to sort of set their program and to take them through the developmental process.
Children who are brought to the Early Stimulation Program are usually referred by the hospitals, infant and basic schools, and by social workers and guidance counselors.
When they are referred, what we do is a developmental assessment to see where they are, and then we put together a program tailored to meet their developmental needs.
The work of the ESP is not limited to the centre. Child development officers are also in the field, working with children at schools, nurseries, and also in communities through home visits.
They receive other assistance through the ministry, the PAD program, for adaptive aids, wheelchairs, eyeglasses. They are part of the PAD program, which gives further assistance. Also through small rehabilitation grants that assist the families of these children to better help themselves.
A number of improvement projects are being implemented, which will provide the students with resources to improve the quality of their learning. Of note is the new $87 million multi-purpose facility built at the ESP location on Hanover Street, downtown Kingston, to replace the building that was there. Funding was provided through the Inter-American Development Bank's Integrated Social Protection and Labor Program.
This modern center represents and provides a new lease on life for children with disabilities whose well-being and welfare will be further enhanced. The ESP currently provides care and support to over 1,500 children with disabilities island-wide, and the services are available to persons from all strata of society.
This is a very significant milestone because it's the only service of its kind that's provided by the government of Jamaica, where children can be provided with assessment and early intervention, and it also helps the children to benefit from the services that will help them to be the best that they can be.
The new facility now boasts an administrative block, assessment clinic, staff room, multi-purpose meeting room, receptionist and waiting area, assessment rooms, sensory and speech therapy room, physiotherapy room, green space and play area.
The children, when you see their faces, then you know that they are satisfied, and it will only help them to fulfill their potential. In terms of the staff, they are elated, they're excited, they're happy, and of course feel appreciated for the work that they have been doing over these years. And so this will only help them to do more and to be more productive.
Once you visit one of these homes, you can feel the genuine love oozing from the people who teach them. They're not called teachers, they're called aunts. And the children have bonded with them in such a positive way.
I don't know how to manage without this place. Just don't know how to manage. The staff at the stimulation program, they let our babies feel like human beings. You know, you feel special, you know. Words can't explain.
My child both feet were twisted. And this program has helped him to get off the twisted foot because he couldn't walk. He's now walking, running, he's all over the place, on his toes. This program has done marvelous for him.
She coming here, she wasn't doing anything but carrying her to the early stimulation. She started creeping, she started holding on, she started getting up off her own. And it made a big difference to me because when I used to have her home, she wasn't doing anything at all but carrying her here and to the physiotherapy. Yes, it's work. So no more crying for me. This stimulation here helps us because we're poor, we can't afford, you know, the other places. So this helps us to know more about our child and also to stimulate our child to get better. And we meet other parents that is suffering the same way that we are feeling, you know, and help us to get over our problems. They take us to seminars, you know, differently from our sessions that we have here at this building. So he has improved a lot. And it's not me alone see it either, don't it, Si?
And though the program has been reaping positive results, there are plans to further expand its offerings.
Early stimulation program reaches approximately 1,500 children. Currently, we have 3 facilities, one on Hanover Street, which is our main facility where we do assessment of our children. We also have another facility on Austin Avenue in Kingston, and that facility is the Early Childhood Center educational facility. We also have a center in Portland that was opened last year, and most recently we just opened another facility in Catherine Hall, Montego Bay. Our facility at Austin Avenue will also benefit from support from the IDB, where we'll be expanding that facility to be able to cater to an additional 40 children. We also have plans in the future, when we're working with our partners, to open a center in St. Anne, and as time goes on, we hope to expand where we have at least one facility in each parish.
The ESP also facilitates the provision of field placements for tertiary level students in the fields of physical therapy, psychology, social work, and early childhood education.
As the ministry continues to serve children with special needs and their families, our aim is to build on the foundation of this assessment center and multipurpose facility and strengthen the pillars of accessibility and range. For in serving our community of persons with different abilities, we can achieve a desired society which is inclusive, participatory, and empowering for all.
I would like to say to parents, don't sit there and wait saying you don't have the money or you can't afford to. It is free. Come in and have your child assessed and begin the intervention program with your children with special needs. The sooner the better. Don't sit and wait.
For further information on the Early Stimulation Program, call 922-5585 or visit their office at 95 Hanover Street in Kingston.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Sexual abuse is always a very difficult thing to confront, particularly when the alleged victim is a child. Parents, if it is that you suspect that your child has been sexually abused or is in a vulnerable set of circumstances where an abuse may occur, we encourage you to have dialogue with your child. Take the child to the pediatrician who normally attends to the child. If there is no such pediatrician, take your child to the clinic, to the hospital, to some medical practitioner who can do an assessment for you. It's very important as well that we don't just look at the physical side, but we also seek to find the kind of psychosocial support that a child may need. Does the child need a session with a counselor? Does the child need to speak with a pastor who is used to dealing with these issues? Does the child need to get that ongoing psychological support to assist with the healing process and also to assist the child in becoming strong enough, as it were, to deal with the various processes that will follow once it is that you suspect an abuse has occurred? If it is that the child actually discloses when you engage the child in discussion that, yes, mommy and daddy, I was abused, we encourage you to entertain the child, to listen to what the child has to say to you, and to take it very seriously. So we really urge you to have those discussions and to seek guidance in terms of, do I speak to the police about this, which we always say you have to. Because once a child has been sexually abused, it's a criminal matter, and it means that once at all possible, the child should be assisted to go through the processes so that the perpetrator can in fact be held accountable. Support your child and let them understand in very clear terms that they are not the cause or the reason for this abuse having been perpetrated. But the most important element is to support them, get them access to the services that they need, and give them a chance to have you give them that listening ear. For these tips and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm. Thank you.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
As we close today's show, we ask that you stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you are online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.